26, roll call, please, Paul.
Oh, please, Paul.
Belkey.
Here.
Bennett.
Here.
Cornish.
Here.
Farrow. Krumzig.
Here.
Marcinkowski.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Washington.
Here.
And that's it. That's it. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now I need a motion and a second to approve the omnibus agenda.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. All right, any discussion? Nope. Okay, Paul, roll call. Bennett.
Yes.
Cornish.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
Krumzig.
Yes.
Marcinkowski.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
And Belkey.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Okay, now we'll go to the audience. Okay, Sharon, I'll let you go first. Tell everybody who you are. You got 5 minutes.
I'm Sharon Dial, and the rumors that you may have heard are true. The vast majority of Mermaid's roof came off last night in the windstorm. We've been there, the Historical Society, most of the day. The attic's completely empty. We have everything off of the second floor and things off the wall on the first floor. I've already coordinated with the State Historic Preservation Officer, or sent the initial stuff up to them. I've sent initial stuff to the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity with regard to the grant and various aspects, and coordinating with historic preservation specialists in St. Louis on various aspects. We should have a tarp on it tomorrow with any luck at all. We had a roofing contractor there today with regard to just tarp at this time, pending all that other negotiating I was talking about. And the other thing, though, especially since that DCEO grant has a very long runway in front of it, we wondered whether we were eligible for one of the business district grants, because obviously this is going to be a big expense. And we have a whole bunch of other expenses, and this is very near term. So that's.
You have insurance?
Just quick, yes, we have insurance and it's filed. However, the amount of insurance that a nonprofit would carry on a historic
Sharon,
building and the.
Sharon. You're not supposed to be asking questions there, Paul.
I did. It was a pertinent
Okay.
question.
Thank you.
Well, you can answer those when we get to your turn.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else out there? Sherry.
Hi, Sherry Wright. I could be on this side, but that's okay. I just have a comment about putting the streets and alleys and water sewer department together. I guess there's a lot of questions that I have as a resident. You say that you're going to pay them 100, 120 numbers, unsure. How are you going to fund that if we have no money? How does it get funded? I think that rather than voting to get this pushed through, if you're adamant about doing it, you need to do some homework. If you say, well, we're gonna lay some people off to pay that, well, you're still not, you still are spending the same money or more to do that. So older people, do your job and study and do, get it together.
Okay, thanks, Sherry. Anyone else? There he is. Oh, hang on.
You're up, boss. Thank you.
Ah,
Hi. I'm in the process of learning about the Open Meetings Act and what that allows and doesn't allow. There have been some comments by council members stating, my name's Marty. My name's Marty. So I'm learning about the Open Meetings Act. And one of the things that recently occurred is one of the council members up here said that the Open Meeting Act keeps you from disclosing information, and that's not at all accurate, at least not in my interpretation of the meeting. The Open Meeting Act allows you a very narrow range of information to withhold from the public. Otherwise, you are obligated to share that information with the public. And there's been a few things that have caught my attention. One is City Hall. you are in the very early planning stages of what's going to occur with the city hall. My interpretation is that that information, this planning, and the comment was made that you have extensive conversations about it, that everyone has an opinion, that you are engaging in information and sharing information in closed session that should be an open session, that you are actually required to share with us in open session. So I don't think that you are using the Open Meeting Act correctly. There was also an incident where Cody was going to share information about the cost the city has incurred on cutting the cemetery. And somebody stopped him and said, no, that is kind of like closed meeting information, and that he would share it with the alderpersons later on. Well, that information was shared outside of a closed meeting. So therefore, it should be accessible to the public. These are just examples of how you as a body, I believe, are applying the Closed Meeting Act or the Open Meeting Act incorrectly. Because I think it's a real possibility, I am going to turn to the public assessor counselor, Pat, and ask them to come in and review the information that you have been sharing in the closed meetings. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Marty. Anyone else? Come on up.
Joby. Good evening. I know Mrs. Lamar said the city's in some financial distress, probably got a lot of bills. For a city of roughly a little over 4,000, this huge debt is not a minor issue. It's a structural emergency. It threatens our ability to pay employees, maintain essential services, and meet legal obligations. And because Illinois does not allow a municipality to do bankruptcy, like Lebanon, it has no legal mechanism to restructure its debt through the courts. That means consequences of mismanagement fall on the residents, the taxpayers, and essential workers who keep the city functioning. When the city cannot pay its bills, the fallout is immediate. Vendors can stop providing services. They can sue the city. They can add interest and penalties. And if payroll cannot be met, police, water, sewer, and public work employees may stop working or seek legal remedies if they have unpaid wages. And if the city fails to meet grant obligations that we've talked about here many times, or reporting requirements, the Illinois comptroller can intercept our state shared revenues, monies we rely on to operate. These are not hypothetical risks. These are spelled out state law, and they are a direct result of financial decisions made by council and the administration. Residents deserve transparency. We deserve to know the city's exact cash position, deserve to know how many payroll cycles we can cover, how much we owe in unpaid bills. We deserve to know whether the comptroller has issued warnings, and we deserve to know the plan if revenues continue to fall short. We also need to know what services will be cut first if the city cannot pay its bills. We deserve the right to know what revenue options are being considered, whether you're going to raise property taxes, sales taxes, water and sewer rates, and how much each option would generate. We need to know whether the city attorney has evaluated the legal risks of lawsuits, wage claims, or grant clawbacks. We need to know whether the council has discussed the legal process and consequences of municipal dissolution. Just like we talked about the bankruptcy, making the city no longer the city. I'm not advocating for dissolution, but the city becomes unable to function. Residents must understand what that means and what options exist. So tonight, I'm asking for clear, functional, not vague statements. I need answers, not a promise to look into it, not deferrals to closed sessions. The people of Lebanon deserve transparency, accountability, and a plan. We cannot afford silence, delay, or denial. With that, if payroll cannot be met for police, water, sewer, public works, what is the plan? We would like some answers to what is the plan when there is no money. What is your thought? This is 4 weeks now since it was brought up before. What services will be cut first? Are we going to get rid of the police department, or what are we doing? And in what order? And who decides this? And has the city attorney evaluated the legal risks of the vendors, lawsuits, wage claims, or drains? So that's really it. We kind of know, would like to know. Cause we're just not, I'm not hearing any answers for the last few weeks on where we're going. Just keep kicking the can down the road. It's not working. Good, bad, or indifferent. Are we just gonna lose the whole city? Is that where we're at? Because that's what's gonna happen, where all the police, all the city workers, all the water sewer, everybody didn't have a job. St. Clair County is gonna start coming in and taking care of it. I've got a lot invested in this city. I've got 23 years. I've got 40 years as a property owner. So I have a interest in this, and I certainly don't want to see it dissolve, but I don't know where we're going. So again, I would like some answers. These people, I'm sure, would like some answers. We need some answers. Please find us some answers. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name's Barbara Cioni. I live right next to the old city hall downtown. I'm here for two purposes today. The first is the city hall building on West St. Louis Street. I'm really concerned about that. I'm not getting any information. I have sent multiple emails to different aldermen and got no response. I've sent multiple FOIAs. I hate doing that. I hate that I have to send a freedom of information to try to get information. I'm sure the clerk has other things he needs to do, but if that's the only way you can get answers, that's what you have to do. That you have to. Oh, I even asked Stephanie at one time if the city emails were working. Because when you go on the city website and you go down to the different aldermen's emails, it just says email. It doesn't have an address.
Right.
And I was told that was because they set it up that way for security purposes, so they don't get a lot of spam. Funny, other cities, I've looked on their websites and they all have their aldermen's emails. Because when I click on that, you have no proof that you sent an email. You cannot, look to see what you sent them. There's no proof. It's like it didn't occur. You don't know if they got it. You can't tell if they read it. So anyway, there's a communication problem there, and Stephanie couldn't tell me if in fact it is working. She believed it is because it's set up that way. But the citizens don't have any way of knowing if you're getting their concerns. Anyway, I'm here to ask about what's happening with the city hall. I wondered in the beginning, what started this emergency that you had to move out? Did part of the roof collapse? Did the walls cave in? Were employees getting ill? No one knows. There was no further testing done to see if the air quality was bad. That was the first thing I heard in the meetings, that we can't allow people to work in this environment. I came to the mayor I scheduled a meeting and I offered $1,000 toward a hospital grade air purifier. I don't know if that information got to any of you, but I offered that to keep the employees safe. Guess it wasn't accepted. Nobody contacted me. I want everybody to be safe, but there has been no more testing. That's almost like having a bad rash on your leg, going to a doctor, and he says, oh, we need to amputate. Wouldn't you say, hey, wait, let's check a few more things out? But it seems like the city immediately, we need to tear down this building, no more testing. We know, we've talked about it in private, but you all don't get to know. The inspection that was done, I got a copy, I read through it multiple times. There were some things that were considered as dangers. That was the handrail to the steps going down to the basement and the way the door swung. The roof was never considered a danger. It was considered a major repair. That's what a roofer tells you, that your roof is at the end of its life when you need to get a new roof. And I don't know why it wasn't replaced at the time it was. 4 of you were aldermen at that time. Maybe you could let us know why you chose not to replace it. And after having worked in there for 27 years, I understand it needed updating, it needed repairs, but nothing that couldn't be handled. And when I was concerned about the air quality, I was, after I made the offer and I guess it wasn't accepted. I was told it's not the air, it's the foundation. Well, there have been other buildings in town that have been in worse shape. Look at the old Giberson building. That entire first floor was caved into the basement. You could walk by and see the hole into the basement. They repaired that. The entire building was tuck pointed. For the 3 apartments they had, they've put in 3 kitchens, 3 bathrooms. It's beautiful. They put in all new windows in the front. That building looks great. The old Edward Jones office in town. I've seen pictures of that where there was 2 to 3 feet of water in the basement because somebody at some time pulled the gutters off. It's been remodeled and it's beautiful. There's people living upstairs and the building looks great. My neighbors, the Hellströms, their house was considered the haunted house. There were no windows in the place. It was a shambles and it is beautiful. People come from around to come see that. I just think the city hall should be saved. I think it can be saved.
Yeah.
If you all don't have the vision and the interest in it, then I ask you to please sell it to somebody who can.
Okay, Barb, your 5 minutes are up. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 1 more minute.
1 more minute, well, I'll go on to my second point,
Okay.
which is the changing or the trouble with the finances in town. I saw this coming years ago when I was a city accountant, and Paul knows that we had trouble meeting payroll in the general fund, and I would say, Paul, I can't make payroll, what do I do? And it was either borrow from the utility tax or borrow from the non-home rule sales tax. This must have continued after I left for it to get to the level it's at now. I don't think hiring a 6-figure person in charge of public works is going to do the trick. Since that time that we had the financial problems meeting payroll, we have doubled the salaries of elected officials, some more than doubled. We have added 5 full-time employees in the admin department. 3 full-time employees, 2 that were part-time that were made full-time. So that's 5 people with benefits. I looked
Yeah.
up their pay. It's
Hey, Barb,
the-
I might have to,
Okay, but it adds up to 359,000. Those 5 employees. I hate to step on toes, but if they were removed, you'd have your balance for your budget.
okay, thanks. Anybody else?
Just a question.
Sure.
You're gonna be taking questions when we get to the budget specifically, or do we get to say those now?
You can just speak for what you want to say out there now. We'll answer questions later on. We're just not gonna have, we're just not gonna have a question. Yeah.
General question.
Yeah, we're just not gonna have a question and answer session right now.
Part of that's because there's a public hearing
Yeah.
on the budget in the future.
There's a public hearing to discuss the entire budget in the future.
April 6th.
Thank you. Okay, then I don't need to say
That's
it.
Anybody else? Okay, older persons? You got something, Paul?
Nothing to say,
Nothing to say. Anyone else? Once, twice, 3 times? Nope. Okay, move on to the plan commission report.
Hi, I'm Jack Mitchell, sitting in for, Franklin, he's, could not now. We held a meeting on 5th of March. There were 6 members present, that's a quorum. There is a correction on the name in here that I put in correct as far as the member. Can you refer back to that for me?
Mike Tigo was not there.
Was Mike,
Caleb. I think it was Caleb.
okay, so there'll be a correction for the minutes. Motion was made to accept, we accepted the meeting minutes business. We had 2 items. First item was a special use permit for Airbnb at 10/957 Kentfield Drive, Lebanon. Overall, we recommend approve. The property shall abide by all covenant agreements, no signage, and the property shall have off-street parking. The annual review for the agreement is the requirement. We discussed the pro cons of that. And we recommend approval. Do you feel with the favor of having Airbnbs in the community with no hotel is the a viable option for the community to not only offer temporary lodging for those that need that for facilities such as our university, would be an enhancement. Item number 2 was discussions on the merit of limiting the number of short-term rentals in the community. Right now, we see that as auto leveling. That is, let the market decide how many units should be in the community. We feel that that's enough. However, we would need additional data such as the property use, the tax base, and the demographics to make an analytical decision on that. Otherwise, we're shooting from the hip. How many should we have? We don't know. We don't have a hotel. So we feel that if there's enough units that are supported in the community by businessmen, then it should be self-leveling, because each of those facilities have their own internal review program that is a 5-star, 4, 3, 2-star rating. People want to stay in nice places. We see this as a benefit to the community, that members in the community invest in properties, they keep them nice and their use, and let the individuals that use the properties decide how that is used. What's the benefit to it? It brings in additional funds through a tax base of hotel tax into the community. But we've yet to leave that item 2 open for a decision and or further discussion.
Yes, you just wanted approval on number 1 then.
Correct?
Okay. So someone will make a motion to approve number 1, George?
Approval of a special use permit for Travis Fleming at 10957 Kentfield Drive.
Okay. Second,
Second.
RJ?
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion? No, okay, roll call, Paul?
Cornish,
Yes.
Pharaoh. Rumzig,
No.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington, Belkey,
Yes.
and Bennett.
Beautiful.
That's it. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Cemetery, Amber?
I don't have anything at this time. Meet again April 6th.
Okay.
2026 at 6:30.
Okay, ordinance, George?
We meet again April 6th at 6:30. We need more information, so we are recommending or requesting, moving forward with the request of the city attorney to prepare proposed ordinances for the combining of water and sewer and street departments into the public works department. We need to know what it's going to look like.
Okay,
Make recommendations.
so it comes from committee, so it doesn't need a recommendation. Any discussion? Roll call, Paul?
Pharaoh,
Yes.
Rumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington, Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett. Huh? Yeah. Cornish,
Yes.
and that's it.
That's it? Okay, public property, Paul?
Mrs. Sione had brought up some properties on the that have been renovated throughout the years, including even our building, 230 West St. Louis Street, which the roof was bad, the walls were bad, the floors were bad. Yeah, that cost $700,000 to redo that building. But it's a moneymaker if you spend 20 years doing that. There's different criterias for why to tear down buildings and why not to tear down buildings. The buildings that you mentioned, many of them were owned by people that wanted to put business in. And lots of those people were contractors, which could do the work at a lower rate. So some of these things we're discussing, whether City Hall be torn down, kept, rebuilt, renovated. We're still discussing those things because in my opinion, it should be torn down. Now, everybody else has their own opinion. I'm just basing my opinion on my experience with what things cost to do, build. I know you don't want that to happen because you live right next door, and I think you're a little bit nervous about what will happen to that property. I would too. Absolutely, and I would be concerned about that as well. But if it has anything to do with my decisions, that would never happen to you, because I would want to treat you just as I would want to be treated if I have a piece of property. That's why I voted against these Airbnbs. I think Airbnb should be in business districts, because I don't want to have an Airbnb next to me. I think they should be in business districts because they're businesses. So if that building gets torn down, the other thing about that building is it's not a historic building. It's just a building that's built on concrete floors, which are very difficult to renovate. You really have to tear up all the concrete, which means you got to tear up all the interior walls, and that roof is done. Everything's done in that building. It had to be completely torn down, and there's a possibility we could build something back in that place. So we're discussing all those things. So in saying that, with Public Works, we're working on a lot of different things. I got a lot of things on my schedule. Plus, my daughter's getting married next Sunday, so I got a lot of things going on. So the building over here, Streets and Alleys building, getting some engineering people out there to kind of see what it would cost to put the EMS in there and all that stuff, and bringing that up to a code so they can get in there. City Hall, decide what to do with that. That's a big decision, and we've talked about why we can say things openly, why we want to keep things lower hat. And I agree with that. A lot of things should be discussed openly, but just like any business, you have to, I mean, let me back up a little bit. We are looking, there's nobody here on this alderman board, including the mayor, treasurer, clerk, that wants to keep things from the public. There's no reason why we want to do that. We're all citizens too. We're all neighbors. But when I was just a citizen and not an alderman, I had to trust that those that we elected to be aldermen would make good decisions for me, because I have a lot of skin in this game too. As JD said, I have a lot of property in this town. My family has a lot of property in this town. I think there's like 8 houses now. So it's very important to me that these decisions are made correct. This town, let me say, because this is out to everybody, because we're on the out. This town is not going to go broke. It's not. But if we continue to go down this road, it will. And we're not gonna let that happen. You know, as long as I'm an alderman, I'm gonna vote to make it successful. And again, I've had a lot of people blame this. I don't even want to hear about what happened before, and including me. I've even said, oh man, they should have done this, they should have done that. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I don't care who was here before. I don't care which aldermen were here before. It doesn't matter anymore. Now what we need to do is fix it. And it can be fixed. It can be fixed fairly easily if we make some tough decisions. And it's going to affect some people. But there's no other way out. We can't print money. We're not the federal government. I've said that before. It's the truth. But we're going to get this thing fixed. And because I know I've sat with all these older people, ladies and gentlemen, and I know everyone is wanting to make the hard decision, and we're not kicking the can down the road anymore. I've only known about this for a few months about where we're at, and because our treasurer has done such a good job, now we're aware of exactly where we're at, and now we know kind of the direction we need to do, where we need to go. But we can't make these decisions like next week or this week. Sometimes we don't have an answer for you, because it's going to take some time to figure out the best way, because we don't want to make a bad decision. So that's what I'm going to say. So other than that, we have another meeting April 6th at 6:30, and we're going to continue to work on the buildings that we have and the property that we have, and we're going to take care of them.
And continue to gather information.
I've met with a lot of people already at that buildings. Barb, I think you've already seen a number of people walk around that building.
Yeah, in
And-
my yard without
Yeah.
permission.
Well, I don't know if they went to your yard or not, but I'm gonna. Yeah.
Actually, to get these pictures.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what they did, but anyway, so we're collecting information. It takes time to get people out, and then I have to get just not one person's getting their information. I gotta get 3 or 4 people to come out and give me information. So it takes a little bit of time, but in the meantime, I'm not where I have a house building and a couple other houses. I'm not worried about not having a police department. I'm not worried about having a water department. I'm not worried about any of that. It's gonna continue on. It's not going anywhere. But we want to make sure we take care of the people that are working for us as best we can. So anyway,
Okay.
that's my,
Okay.
it's my 10-minute spiel.
Okay.
Plus love.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Streets and alleys, RJ. I mean.
We're basically talking, and approving, we talked a lot about it last week with the motor fuel tax project at Lantern Lane. Is there any real difference, anything new, Cody?
Yes,
Very well.
so the scope of the project was originally to overlay Roger from McHenry Park to College, including Lantern Lane and the radiuses that go into Lantern Lane from Roger. We are narrowing the scope of this project down to keep monies in the MFT account for any possible changes that might come. So the new proposal, the ones that we were talking about getting together, would just be Lantern Lane. It would be an overlayment, so they would go in just like they did with Hillcrest, Parkview, Clover. They would go in and do overlayment, any areas that are soft that need to be addressed because of the underlayment of the road. Will be addressed at that time. Usually is that there's poor or little to no base underneath the road. That will be addressed at that time as well, and then there's a culvert that will be installed. If you guys remember, I believe you guys were on council then, we put a culvert up at Merrill and Roger, which helped water continue down the hill. Now we are seeing the effects of the water getting to the bottom side of the hill, since Lebanon's on basically a big hill. We now need to get the water from Lantern to the ditch line that comes across over by McKendree Park Drive, and it actually leaves out through that area, back by McKendree's old golf course. So, yes, we are changing it, but we are addressing the water issue still. We're still addressing what I think is the core issue. And not leaving the citizens there to mess with all the water that's down there. I think at one point someone maybe referred to it as the new Lebanon swimming pool. We want to try and make sure if we get a swimming pool, it's a real one, not on the middle of the road.
So Cody, you still want approval the way it's written here for Lantern, correct?
Yep, just for Lantern.
Okay, need a motion?
Dumb question.
Sure.
So the overall cost is less than, because we're holding some back?
Yeah, so we're saving. I apologize if Jeff did send it to me. I didn't see it in my email. He was supposed to give me a work over cost. I've been busy myself with some personal stuff on home life, so it would definitely not be in the $300,000 range. We were taking probably 88% of that project and going down to that small scope, so you'll still have a price in it. I'm gonna ballpark. If you guys want to table it, that's fine too. I mean, it's up to you, but there may be gonna be no less than that $25,000 to $50,000 range. That's including engineering.
So this is the MFT money, just to give everybody some clarity. This is money that we can't use on anything else. It has to be used on projects for roads, sidewalks, things like that. We can't take money from this account to solve any of the other issues that we have. This is also, Cody has to do a report on this and tell them what we're using the funds for. So we have to show that we have projects going, and so that's why he's asking for this specific project. So the money that's in that account, we can't use for anything else. I had met with him because originally we were using 2 years worth of, not fully 2 years, but basically 2 years worth of monies to do one big project. With our current financial situation, my concern was if things come up and we don't have the money in general, I didn't want to wipe this account out. And so I asked him what was more of a pressing issue. Can we carve this project back to a little bit? And that's what he's presenting to you guys is carving that back to where we're not draining that count as well. And that way we do have some money available for any infrastructure issues if we don't have it in the general fund as they come available.
There's roughly almost 200,000 in it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Someone want to make a motion?
And the actual proposal and the budget that's proposed from TWM before we make a motion to approve it,
Yeah,
only because
absolutely.
I'd like to see the real numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, road's not going anywhere.
Okay, so you're asking to table it then, George?
Pardon?
You're asking to table it then?
There's no motion.
There'd be no motion
No motion, okay.
at this time, but the request is there for the information.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay, we can move on then, I guess. Finance, Mike?
Okay, item one, last week, Jessica gave us a preliminary budget for the next fiscal year. We need to review that and discuss it and, get it posted by tomorrow. And I don't wanna, we've done a lot more work on this than me, obviously. I just don't wanna mess up the framing of this, but I think the big issue is it's gotta show up balanced. So, most likely way to do that is to cut $300,000 or so.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I gave you guys the prelim numbers so that you guys could be looking at them because we have to publish a budget. We have several residents that are very eager to see what we're gonna be publishing. I have to have that out by noon tomorrow to be able to meet the timeline that we have to have. As you guys went through it, if there's anything anybody saw on there of where you feel like we can cut other monies or anything that I missed, then now would be the time that I would love those recommendations. Because I have to put this out. There was one thing I was gonna share. I wanted to apologize because I gave you guys some bad information on the utility tax. No, sorry, use tax. I'm learning as well on all the different taxes. So that use tax, I was under the impression, I won't say we, because I'm not gonna blame anybody else, it's me. I was under the impression that's where the chiropractor and those services were going under. That is not correct. Those go on to a different thing. So the use tax, what happened was, if you guys remember that, we had the big tax change when they removed the state grocery tax at the 1%, and then they allowed for the city to add a local tax at 1%, and we did that. What I didn't know was that encompassed in that same thing was changes to the use tax as a whole as well. So one of the things I'll share with you guys, I'm just gonna read it so I don't butcher it here. Previously, many online purchases were taxed at a lower uniform rate called the use tax, with a portion often returning to municipalities based on population rather than the location of the buyer. So the new laws require online marketplaces like Amazon and remote sellers to collect local sales tax at the destination address rather than the lower statewide use tax. Then there's also a reclassification that happened. This change decreased the use tax line item because those tax purchases are now put under sales tax. So I went back and I looked, and our sales tax are up from last year. So it's a little shy of $100,000 that we're up in sales tax. And again, we don't have access to that portal, so we can't tell what of that is from online purchases and things like that versus our stores. We will get access to that and be able to look, but we are up. And so what's happened is they've shifted, and we won't ever receive as much of a use tax as we were. And we will now be seeing it in the sales tax, but also there's not a way for us to really, very difficult for us to track and hold accountable to make sure that vendors are collecting the taxes for the destination of their items. So there's not a lot of tracking that we can do to find it. But we are seeing that there's an increase in sales tax. So I'm assuming some of that we're shy about $150,000 in that use tax. I'm assuming that some of that is now in the sales tax and we didn't lose all of it. But that use tax that line item will never come back to what it was. So I'm not going to increase that revenue or anything on our reporting because it is a line item that it's phasing out and getting moved per changes that the state has made. So wanted to give some clarity. I misspoke on that, so did learn that. But other than that, I mean, you guys had the preliminary numbers. Like I said, if there's anything that you guys are suggesting on what I can do, I asked Luke, I do have to publish this as balanced. So I'm hoping somebody found some fingers or some money hidden somewhere or would like to make a nice donation to next year or something, because I don't know where else to change things.
Can we donate our checks?
I have had a couple people ask, a couple aldermen have asked about being able to not collect a paycheck. Is that an option?
Check now.
Oh, you guys raised it.
I believe so, but let me.
Okay, we can look into it. So.
Yeah, obviously you gotta be thinking bigger than that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, I don't think that's gonna make any difference.
Make a small difference.
Very, very small difference.
And I will say, from an overall standpoint, we have been, I mean, I think this has brought a lot of awareness to a lot of people and starting to look at things, so. I'll say it so that Al can hear it as well. Paul and I were talking today. We spend over $800 a month on postage of mailing out the water payments, so doing little things like encouraging people to have e-billing. Some people don't even realize that you can get your billing statements on email. But if you do sign up for that, it's roughly 80 cents just on the postage and like the postcard and everything, possibly even more by the time we get it all said and done. So when we're talking about, like, I am looking at the pennies as well, and so little things that we were doing. So we were talking today about trying to do something to try and encourage residents. I know a lot of people have auto pay, and so they're receiving a statement in the mail that says that $0 is what is owed because it's being auto deducted. And so if you just call up to City Hall and notify them that you want to do e-statements, it at least saves us that 80 cents plus the time that it takes to process it and everything a month, which I know sounds minimal, but it'll compound. So there's little things like that that we're looking at of ways that we can save as well. So everybody at the city level is being self-conscious about that.
I don't, Cameron, if you don't go paperless, that they'll charge you extra. Is that something that we can do if they don't want to?
It's something we talked about looking into. We don't know if it's an option or not, from a municipality level. And so, like I said, we just kind of started looking at, I just want to be clear that, like, I know people are like, oh my gosh, you went straight to our employees. No, I didn't go straight to the employees. We just need to come up with a lot of money. And literally looking at everything we can do from even our monthly bills going out at 80 cents a piece, so. But yeah, it's definitely something we are looking at, and we'll see what we can do on that.
You're going number 2, Mike?
I don't know, are we down with number one? I don't think we're at.
Does anybody have anything?
Well, we can start doing math on, if we did do the public works thing, and maybe at best it kicks in for the last 6 months of the fiscal year, we could make some guesses about how much that would save.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you guys the payroll numbers, but outside of that, it's gonna be really hard to compute that and know exactly how it's all going to come down. So I mean, I know you guys voted to have, I think it's on here again with the public works thing. Obviously, that's a big thing tied to this budget. Right now I have no choice but to budget for everybody in there. I would assume with us budgeting or passing and voting to have that ordinance drawn, that means that you guys are wanting me to add the payroll for a public works director into this budget and starting to look at how we have options to pay for that. And what's gonna happen with that, because it's not that simple. It's just, and the employees, I mean, I've received phone calls multiple times this week. The employees need answers. If we're doing this, they need to know that we're doing this, and we need to figure out what all that entails. And because keeping them in limbo week after week is not fair to them at all.
Yeah, I don't see where we have a lot of options other than to pursue that and stuff on top of that. I mean, we're gonna have to spread it around more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely need to look at other areas as well. I mean,
So you don't have a real number, you just have, it's gonna be 100,000 basically, right? That you're adding up.
For the public works director?
Yeah, that's what you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that would come down to who we interview and what we can get and that kind of thing. As I mentioned to you guys, I think I gave you what Trenton's was making, I gave you what New Baden's was making, and kind of gave you a range there.
Yeah.
You know, an all-in package, we would hope that we would be able to get somebody for that 100,000, and 120,000 with an all-in with their benefits. Would be the goal. Hopefully we can find somebody cheaper. If somebody would like to volunteer, That'd be fantastic. But yeah, that's gonna be the goal, and I think to be able to get somebody that's gonna be able to come in and be able to actually do it effectively, you're not gonna wanna pay somebody that's
New.
brand new to the position.
A little bit of the bright side, though, it wouldn't be for the full year, 120, so. We might have a few, 90 or 100 for this fiscal year,
For the
or
additional,
if there is a new position created.
Because it
For the full year.
it would, yeah, it would, well, depending on how quickly we were able
Yeah.
to get somebody hired, yes. Yeah, but as soon as you hire them, if you are keeping everybody else,
Yeah, it's actually,
we're going in the wrong direction.
Right.
Thank you.
Any more, Mike?
All right, do we not have to get this worked out so we can get this published?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for Luke on at what point does it go in the paper? Should it go in this week's paper? To be for a public hearing, a notice?
Yes,
Okay. Somebody to give me some wording, how to put it in initially?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
So we're saying to add $120,000 to the number she has now. Right?
No.
Well, that,
You gotta balance.
You have to have a budget as as your
Yeah.
code stands
Okay.
now.
You gotta
Now,
balance.
as, if you change the code, then we have to amend the budget.
Right.
But you have to do the budget as everything stands now.
Okay.
Gotta keep the numbers.
there's gonna be no choice but to do a budget amendment of it going into next year. But again, I have to budget. I have to balance
Right.
for May 1. So everybody that's on the books and everything that's happening by May 1 has to be able to balance. So that's what I mean. There's a lot of different things to look at, but ultimately, like, you guys are the ones that have to make the decisions on things. And that's, I mean, I don't have any control.
It has to happen.
you know, we need specific things that have to happen. So.
We don't know what's coming.
Am I able to ask a question? Break off to say,
Please.
Sure.
do you have a structure of what it will look like for operations? Or are we just going kind of blindly with the stick and like, we know we have to make this cut? But do we know what it looks like? Do we know, like, and don't get me wrong, like, I get we have to make some tough choices, but last time I checked, lift stations don't run themselves. Plants don't run themselves. What happens if the people that are here don't come back? Who runs the plant? Who fills the potholes? Who cleans up the tree at 3 AM? I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I really wish I do, because it's a tough decision, but I mean. There's gonna be 6, and I've been thinking about this pretty hard. It takes all 5 of my guys to do my job. Picking up the limbs, getting all the stuff done. I have no idea what water and sewer does because I picked the streets and alleys because I didn't want to deal with crap. Literally. And I don't know, they could be the busiest people in the world, but let's say you have to plan for the real world worst situation. We have a cemetery burial with a water main break and the testing needs to be done and a tree falls. You now have 6 versus 10. Who's doing what and doing where? I don't have a water license. I can't go to the plant. Where are we keeping with licenses or we're not keeping licenses? I'm just asking, has any council person looked at who has what? Do we know who has what license? I don't. Not in particular that I feel bad that I don't know who has water and license stuff because, again, it's not my department, but we have to know who does what and when. Do we have a plan moving forward? If we have a public works director, does he have the license? If he comes in, we still gotta make that $100,000 shortfall. I mean, these are just questions that I have going through my head, so don't take it that I'm coming at you sideways on it, but these are legitimate questions before you make the rash decisions. Where we, what are we gonna use for operations? Because it's not fair to the people in town. Because we already know that there's basement problems sometimes in places in town. We already know there's roads that you can't drive on without spilling your coffee. The work has to get done. And if we balance it this way, we still don't have the money to do the project. So what did we accomplish? I
Well,
mean, I know it's a hard decision, but where else can we go? What else do we have?
we haven't decided from 10 to 6 or whatever. We haven't decided that.
I get that.
It's not gonna be a rash decision.
I know, but that's what I'm asking you,
Yeah.
right, is if you go to 6,
Yeah,
and this is an honest to goodness opinion on it,
right.
because I work it every day, Penny, you let me know anything too, like. When it snows, it's all hands on deck and it's everything we could. I think we had the best snow season we've ever had. Don't expect that next year with 6, because they still got a test. That's 2 people. Now I'm down to 4. I'm not saying me, but whoever, the public works director, does he come out and plow?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound silly, but do we put plow on PD traps? I don't know. I don't have any options here, so I'm asking. I don't think they want to plow snow.
I also have a question for us employees. Do you have a date of when we're unemployed? I'm just curious. I'm currently got some health issues going on when I got hurt from work. Am I gonna be without health insurance in 3 weeks? Cause I need to know. We need to know. I have children, grandchildren, children. I don't know where else I see. Cody's got a kid. It's the breadwinner of that household, Blake. We all need to know a date so we can find other jobs or other money avenues. Please.
We know it's a hard decision. We just want to know that moving forward, and here's the thing, I think it says employees of the city. We want to make sure when we do, whomever it is, that the city's gonna be taken care of when we leave. We understand that you're gonna make layoffs. But is there gonna be somebody here in a promptly timed manner to make sure that the day-to-day still operate? Are we still gonna have police officers to respond to calls? Are we still gonna have water sewer guys when there's 7 inches of rain in 45 minutes? We got a call this weekend, I think Kent Coolbreakers, you're gonna have to pull them out by name, but we went and picked a tree up that was across the road. Who's gonna do what with how? Because from a business person, when I used to cut lawn care, I probably cut half your guys' yards in town when I worked here back in like 2015. You have some kind of structure for it. I mean, it's great. We know we gotta make a cut somewhere, but who, what, when, where, why, and how? There's gotta be a plan moving forward. You can make the cut. But just say, we're making the cut and this is what the future looks like. Because you gotta have a plan before you just make the cut. And I personally feel like there's no plan and we're making the cut.
Adam, you mentioned dates. There are no dates.
I was just curious.
Yeah, there are
You
none.
know, I just, put it out there because it's on a lot of
Yeah.
people's minds.
Once
I'm
again,
trying
it's,
to not watch meetings because.
once again, it's still gathering information, trying to put it all together to come up with a plan.
I understand. And then to get to your question too, Mike, I think maybe she answered it, but to make it more clear in my terms, how I think of stuff. If you're gonna have something in the budget, even though, let's say he comes in 6 months in, he's only 45,000 in a year for that $100,000 position. You still have to budget that 100 grand. That's just how that ends up working. And same thing with any of the other budgeting items, like even though you don't hit that mark. You still have to have that 100,000, so he might only get 45, 57. Yeah, she, whoever, I say he, I apologize, whoever it is, but you still have to earmark that. I don't envy you guys. I mean, it's a tough decision. Best of luck, but just food for thought when you go home tonight, because I know there's at least 20+ employees that are thinking, what's gonna happen like that? And it's not only about us, but it's about the city, because we do care. I mean, you have officers in here that 20 years together, 20 years, 25 years, you have employees 30 years here that they know things about this city that people probably shouldn't know on how things work. If they're the ones that are displaced, well, I don't know any, I mean, I get you around town.
So
A lot of betting, that's what I.
this is like. I mean, I've been as blunt as I can be until this point, so I might as well keep going. They need answers, and my question is what happened? This was presented. What has happened between last Monday and this Monday that we each did to be able to give them their answers? Because I didn't get a lot of phone calls. So if it's from a lack of fear of not wanting to break the bad news, then we need to break the bad news. Because like, I know we keep saying, oh, we don't have a date, we don't have a date. Well, we do have a date. We don't have a date of when this is gonna happen. We have a date of when we're gonna run out of money. I can't give you exactly when that date is, but I can tell you that the account that we're borrowing from is going to get borrowed again April 1 for payroll. It's going to get borrowed again most likely in May for payroll. And right now it is down to $140,000 in it. Not to mention, when we do our audit, we're going to get in trouble because all this money that we're borrowing, we're not supposed to be borrowing. So as much as we want to say like, oh, we don't have a date and we're trying to gather information, what information did you take from last Monday that you have gathered to this Monday that has changed your or pushed you one direction or the other? And if you're not moving one direction or the other and we're just standing still from week to week, we're doing a huge disservice and we have to do something because we're running out of time. And that's what I don't think I can express that enough because like I told my husband, I said, it's not a funny joke, but like, it's going to get to the point where we're gonna go to paper paychecks and we're gonna say, hey, it's a rush to the bank, whoever's there first clears. Like, and we can't do that. Like, we have to be able to, he's asking the right questions. What's our plan when we can't cover payroll and we don't have the money in the account to borrow anymore? Every week that we drag this out, is making it worse. And also, it's not fair. They need to know what's happening in their lives. They have families to provide for. They need the health insurance. They need these things. So if you're doing something from last Monday to this Monday that's pushed you one way or the other, it's really hard. And I'm speaking on the employees' behalf because they're calling me and they're asking me questions. It's really hard to sit in the meetings and not hear a lot of particulars and specifics being discussed because it doesn't feel like anything's changed from 3 weeks ago to this week. It just seems like we're kicking the can and we can't keep doing that because we're running out. There is a ticking time bomb. And if we start getting ahead of it, then yes, we can start turning the ship. But as long as we keep taking our sweet time on all of this, it's going to be a problem. So like, yes, we voted. We're going to have this drawn up to combine these water and streets. And yes, there's of course going to be questions. But then it seems like we made that recommendation based on the fact that, well, then once we get that, then we're going to look at it and decide what we're going to do. Well, then what questions are we going to have at that point? And are we going to continue to kick it down? And I've heard 3 aldermen say that it's going to be over a year that we're going to have all these employees. Plus you're wanting me to bring in a public works director. The money's not in the account.
Right.
I don't know, like, and that's what, like, I am so stressed out. And I had a phone call with somebody the other day. Because as the treasurer, I'm the one that's having to put my name on this and put this budget out. And I don't know what the ramifications are if I sit here and don't have accurate information or whatever it be. But I'm not going down for when the city doesn't have any money because I've told you we have to do something and we have to start being proactive. So it's the same thing with the city hall thing when they're feeling like we're not talking about it. It's because we're not communicating in this and making it seem like we're moving anywhere.
Well, on that point, it's like, but we're told that we can't discuss Blasi because of money and all this other kind of stuff, so we don't know what we're allowed to say out in the public. And we're not trying to hide anything from any of you. Excuse me?
Public discussion.
Let me
Finances.
throw something at you that maybe is non-personnel and so there's an item on here I see for miscellaneous expense. It's under non-home rule. Miscellaneous expense, I guess that's city hall roof. 100,000.
Yeah, so no, so the non-home rule is. I actually have it. Hang on just a second.
I think that was the time we fixed.
The non-home rule, we're supposed to budget infrastructure and like it's supposed to specifically spent on infrastructure. So when I made this budget, that I have in there, it says city hall roof. I have that for the ambulance building.
We're gonna transfer it over to.
It's because we have to get EMS out of there. So somewhere we have to budget and I'm hoping it doesn't take 100,000. We have some grant money, we have other things, but that non-home rule, we should be budgeting for infrastructure and things that go in there. And so one of the things that's on there, that's not the city hall roof. I know that's what it's listed as because it's actually, we got a grant for the city hall roof that we are now trying to see if we can transfer to the ambulance building if we pursue this project that we have already approved to go and have the engineers looking at because we have to deal with the EMS issue. And so that's why I have that money.
That was just 25,000, right?
Yes, the grant is, yeah. And so it's my hope is that if we budget 100,000, then hopefully that building would be able to all be paid for out of that. If not, or we can go for grants or whatever it may be. But no matter what, we have to budget that money for infrastructure. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're writing a check for that right now. But in the non-home rule is also like, I know that's one of the things we've borrowed against a few times, but we're not supposed to.
I do have another question. It's just to ask. Does anybody know the percentages of the general fund of where it goes? To what departments?
So general fund only, well,
Like what we brought in last year, you gave that versus the money we spent, right? Do you guys know the percentages per department? That broke down,
so are you trying to compare police department to streets?
all of it, all of general money, because that seems to be a general fund problem, so that's right.
I have not done like a percentage on it, no.
So what I come up with, and I am not an accountant by any means, not throwing any shade out to any places I went for school, but I did my best at it, and this is what I come up with. Cemetery is a whopping 1.93% of the general fund. Not that big of a deal. Your admins make up 15.67%. Your streets that you can drive on make up 27%. And then the rest of your general fund money is budgeted at 55.40% for the police department. Those are your numbers.
55% for just the police vote.
Here's the thing, you guys are elected to make these decisions. This information should be at your fingertips. I shouldn't, as a supervisor, have to pull these numbers to try and scrape a road project together, or Penny to scrape a sewer line together when we can't get the sewer to end up where it's supposed to be. And what I didn't mention is there's nothing in here for savings.
What's that?
Savings.
When I budget at home, I make a savings account. I have a nest egg. So we really have two problems. We can't make payroll and we don't have a nest egg. We don't have a fallback plan.
You also have a $1.4 million debt you have to pay back.
We have a $1.4 million debt we have to pay back. I don't have the answer. Again, I know it's not hard
for debt payment either.
Yeah, so. Again,
May I ask?
is just merging public works gonna do it?
So, no. Can I make a, looking from the outside in to this, if you guys were a $10 million corporation and you're the board of directors of a $10 million corporation, which is what you are, with like, you guys would decide there's a percentage of cuts that have to be made or a percentage of revenue increase. I haven't heard a thing about revenue increases that are, I don't want to see my water bill go up, but hey, water bill's got to go up to cover costs. Revenue is a portion of this, right? But as a board of directors, you would decide we need to cut our budget by 25 or 35, what that percentage is, and then you would go to your high paid, no offense, your well-paid, well-experienced directors and say, you all have to cut your budget by X percentage. It's not your decision to this little line, this little line, this line as a board of directors. You would go to your executives and you would say, your budget is now reduced by X percentage. Come to me Monday with your cuts and give it to my controller so she could make those cuts and you're gonna have to implement them. Or you're gonna say, we need 10% more in revenue, so we're gonna go across the entire city, we're gonna do a 10% revenue increase across all controllable revenues. So I watched I had 4 hours in the car driving, so I played all the YouTube videos from several days back. But one of the fundamental problems I think you guys have as a board, you don't have a finance committee. This group was changed to committee by the whole back in 2015, 2016, or whatever. So when we have committee meetings, which was the last one I watched, there's nobody no offense to all of you, there's nobody in any of your committees with the expertise necessary to make accounting and financial long-term decisions. So I would implore you to make an emergency decision to hire and develop a finance committee of the public. There are probably people sitting in this room with multiple years of accounting experience and executives and businesses. There are past government commanders of military in this town who live here would probably volunteer their time to help you figure out this emergency situation that needs to be had so you can figure this kind of stuff out. And my concern is also, the one, you're looking at a percentage of cut, but you have 1.4, 1.5-ish million dollars that also needs to be repaid to all of this, correct? I mean, that's my understanding of all the total monies borrowed is more than $1 million, so pick $1 million. That also needs to be budgeted and repaid, because according to state law, any money you borrowed over the last 5 or 10 years has to be paid back in the same fiscal year. So you have another 1 point some million dollars you gotta come up with as well through a bond issue or raising revenue or something like that. So it's a huge problem. Please create an emergency committee of well knowledgeable people who can help you figure this out. That's what I ask. And then pick a percentage, go to your executives and tell them, here's the percent, bring me back your solution.
That's a good idea. The problem, I think, immediately is that we have to have this done for tomorrow.
Well, you have to have this done, right? You have a percentage. She has told you what your percentage is. She probably needs to add more for debt repayment. You'll know a percentage in probably 5 minutes with a calculator. That's your percentage. You have to balance the budget. I understand that. It's tough. I'm not sitting on that side. I wouldn't want to be over there right now. But as an executive, that's how you would make the decision. If you're running a corporation and you've got to go to hiring a public works director you might get that done in 3 to 4 months. And I got news for you. Any public works director who looks at your budget is not going to take the job. No one's going to take that job. Who wants to take a job to be the hatchet man to come in and even take that? So no one's going to apply for a job. And realistically, that's probably $150,000 plus benefits job, not $100,000 even to do that. So that's what I implore you to do. The kind of decision you need to make is take a percentage, pass it off and say, bring me back answers on Monday to your directors who are in charge of these departments, all departments, and share the cuts. And I implore you also to look at revenue increases. I hate to see our bills go up. And if you need to create a hardship option for people who can't afford to have their bills go up and water bills go up, you can consider a hardship option. But I don't know when the last time the water and sewer bills went up and all these things went up, but we might need to look at a fee increase across the entire city to help cover some of the expenses. So I'm not excited about that either. I pay a lot of bills too. That has not even been part of the conversation, is raising revenue of controllable things you're paying for now. So
I don't know how. I know there's rigmarole to raise the water rates. I don't know how soon we could.
So this is one of that fee schedule that I brought up 3 months ago is where the water and sewer rates are. So we haven't discussed it. We haven't brought it forward. We haven't done anything with it. So now my question that Luke's gonna look into is I don't even know, because we right now publish 5 years at a time on our water and sewer. And I don't know if we're married to that or if we can change it. And if we do change it, how many days in advance we have to give notice of changing it, because our ordinances read that we can only change them on May 1st. And the rates are already set for this coming May 1st. And so I don't know if we can change that.
There is an increase on that.
There is an increase, yes. It's still not large enough. So that's what that fee schedule and like all those numbers on there, that is the revenues that we have control over. And what needs to be looked at and assessed and everything. But like I said, I don't know if we'll find out. I will have an update for you. And that is something we're looking at, is if we can even implement a water and sewer increase to help offset that part by May 1. But I don't have answers for that tonight.
That's still not gonna help the general.
So it is and it isn't, because there's a lot of expenses, and this is what's so tricky about the budget. So I have had multiple conversations. I have talked to the auditor now. I have talked to the IML. I have talked to a lot of other municipalities. Anything that it has justification to that it can be tied to the water and sewer department. So the conversation that was recommended to me from the IML was, he said, are your employees' salaries split from water, sewer? Those that do work with water and sewer in the office, for example, all of the aldermen, things like that, are those split? I said, yes. He said, benefits. We don't split benefits right now. Can we? Yes. He recommended it. He also then, okay, City Hall, the electricity, the utilities, all of that. Do those people that work in City Hall that are working to provide the water and sewer bills, do they like to have air conditioning? Do they like to have heat? Yes. Do they have computers? Yes. All of those things right now, we take the rent, we take a portion of the rent, since we moved into this building, we take that out of water and sewer. It goes water, sewer, and general. We can do the same thing on the utilities. We can do the same. So that's the thing that, like, when I tell you guys it's kind of difficult, is we can shift some of those expenditures per the IML, and their recommendation for the situation that we're in was to shift more of our expenses that are justifiable out of all three accounts to free up money in your general fund. The problem is that we're not charging enough for our water and sewer for what's in there right now. So that's not going to help us unless we can implement an increase. That kind of breaks me into what I was sharing with you guys. So I got some more numbers. We have just under 2,000, so it's like 1950 in its service accounts for water and sewer in town. Okay, so if we raise, hypothetically, you raise it $1, then you're raising it for every water and sewer service in town. Property taxes, we don't have, one, you have to have a public hearing to ever be able to raise it the amount we need to do. Two, we can't do that until next year for sure. Three, all the people that have freezes, our disabled vets, our regular disability, the university, the Help for Mom, all the nonprofits, the churches, all of them, they pay a water and sewer bill, they don't pay property taxes. So if we can shift some of these expenses to be allocated across the board, how the IML and our auditor is saying that we can do, we can control our water and sewer revenue and increase it a little bit and increase it. It's going to be a smaller hit across the board because you have a bigger population that's paying water and sewer versus population that's paying property taxes. So that's how, like, when I go through the math of everything, that's kind of how it all maths. So like, yes, we have to look at everything. Okay, part of freeing up some of that general fund is, okay, can we do this and increase our revenue over here? Because I can't open a business tomorrow. Y'all know I like opening businesses, but I can't open a business tomorrow to generate sales tax for us immediately. Whereas if we can shift it on water sewer, which is why I've said that we have to keep that, because that's the only revenue we can control. We need to evaluate how we need to do that. But unfortunately, we needed to do it 10 years ago. Now we have to rush those decisions a little bit.
All right, to get the ball rolling, I'll throw something out here. Maybe it's crazy. I would propose lowering salaries, $50,000 overall in police, sewer, admin, and streets. That'll get you 200,000. Maybe the benefits gets you close to the 300 we need.
How many open positions are there?
You can do that. You
Unfilled positions. Because the budget is based upon all those positions being filled.
well,
So if
that's a
we
great
take
question.
all unfilled, if that's the case, all unfilled positions should be taken out of the budget right now.
So I don't think we have any unfilled positions right now. And I will also, I know, like, when we're talking about the police department, you guys have to understand that per contract, they have to have 2 officers on duty. And what I was explaining to you guys, if you cut an officer, we are going to then pay time and a half for a person to cover those shifts, because and that's what, it's hard. You cannot compare a police department budget to a street department budget. You can't do it, because they are literally the way they have to cover things. And like I shared with you guys before, if a street department guy isn't able to come in, you still have to have an officer cover that shift.
Got something, Dave?
Yeah, just on the budget, first of all, what Cody pointed out is correct. If you would if that flag there was a map of the United States, and you throw a dart, and I don't care what town it lands, that has a police department, the police department's gonna have the highest budget in that town, period. The second will be if they have a paid fire department. Okay, and then it goes from there. So, that being said, it always comes out of the general fund. The entire force comes out of the general fund. In any town you want to talk about, pick me, all of them. So in any budget, this is actually on one of my things to talk about tonight. So in any budget, there's a lot of people that don't understand that. But no matter what budget you're talking about, I'll be close, 80 to 85% is gonna be personnel, salary and benefits. I don't care what company you're with, what you're talking about, police department definitely. So then that gives the police department or Cody or Penny that 15% range, roughly 20% range to actually function for things they need during the course of that year. Right? Do you agree? Okay, so when it comes to the budget, because I've heard this say before, and we will have the highest budget because it's personal and cost and benefits. So I wanted to touch base on that there. So when it comes to, you guys are gonna have to make some hard decisions, but you gotta make, I may not like them. That's okay. They may not like them, but they have to be made. If we are as broke as what you guys are saying we are, and I have no reason to believe we aren't. But leaving everybody out in limbo, the way we are, the last 4 weeks have been hell. Okay, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I feel for everybody, all the employees, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what decisions you're gonna make, because some of the decisions you might make, it's gonna force me to make decisions. So, but you guys gotta make them. Now, you can't keep kicking this can. And I think you all have a good idea what you want to do. I believe in you. I wouldn't want to be sitting in your chair. You guys adopted a shit sandwich. Pardon my language, sorry. You have. But now you have to have the budget in what time you say, tomorrow? And we're now here still talking about this? Seriously? You can't operate that way. And I agree with you, Paul. I don't give a heck why we are here. I don't care whose fault it is. We don't need all this shit, all the finger pointing, because it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so let's make a decision,
Yeah.
because that hurts my heart, just rubbing it in and rubbing it in. Yes, we know there's a problem, we get it. Let's make a decision.
I think the decision's bigger than just the public works, though.
To be clear. Yeah. To be clear, this is the preliminary budget
Tired of
that you're sending for public inspection in the hearing. This is not it can be
amended.
revised, amended at the approval point, which would be the April 13th. So this is what you're putting for publication and for hearing. And then based upon what you get from that hearing, you would then approve a final budget at the April 13th meeting. That is what we are talking about. So 100%, you guys, as the council, have to make those decisions. But this is not yes, we have a deadline for tomorrow. We have to have the inspection period ahead of the hearing in order for you guys to pass a final budget. But this is not that.
Can the budget that goes out for the public hearing be in a deficit?
Why do
Probably not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so with what he's saying, obviously a recommendation being made tonight is difficult because it feels like we're shooting from the hip.
I don't think we are shooting
But-
from it. We talked about this. We looked at all the numbers.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
agree, but my problem is to say that you are gonna do it equally and you want each department to go and cut
Yeah.
$50,000.
No,
It's.
we can't do that.
It's hard, and so I appreciate and commend
Yeah, it's a good
the
idea.
effort in putting your neck out there, because I know that's not easy. But what I'm saying is, then we need to be able to conversations and questions, and that thing of when I said Monday to Monday, we need to be doing all the work you eight can possibly do in the next 2 weeks before that public hearing and at that public hearing, because people are gonna have questions and we need to be able to give the answers, and we need to know what we're doing. And if that is, then you want water and sewer or police department or whoever to cut things, then we need to be able to, I think, say those things before we actually finalize our budget and turn it in for the May one. Is that fair to, that they, like, to say?
And you can put a proposed cut in what you put tomorrow, subject to reapportionment at that final, based upon the hearing and stuff, so.
Okay.
Like, you can, I mean, theoretically, you could take the recommendation of, we're gonna proportionally split, we're gonna equally proportion across all of them. And then you can have discussion in the public hearing, discuss whether or not that's realistic as to whether or not, like, admin, is there enough room in admin to cut the same amount as what you could cut from one of the other departments? Probably not, but I mean.
Everything else? Is it Mark? Is it Mark?
Bill.
Bill, I'm sorry. Got your name wrong the first time years ago and I'm still.
You've always done.
Thank you, Bill. Everything you said makes a lot of sense. It's so logical. And it's hard to wrap your head around committee and government committee. It's very difficult because you're a businessman. And matter of fact, everybody go to Ace Hardware and we'll get some more taxes. I love it. So, in your business, what you do is you have building Muscuda, building 11. I don't know if you have anything more, but you budget everything. And then you also have a nest egg just in case you have a bad few months. We don't have that. Haven't had it in a long time. So what you do is if you have a couple bad months, you have employees, you don't want to get rid of them because if they go to another job, you got to train somebody else to take that job, which costs you more money in the future, right? So you have to make hard decisions. So you say, well, in 3 months, I'm going to start making more money. So you don't lay them off, right? But if you're running behind for another 6 months and your nest egg is gone, you go, this is where our budget is. This is what I got to do. And then you go to your employees and say, listen, I don't want to do this, but you're probably going to lose your job in a few weeks and I'll try to give you some severance or whatever you're going to do because you have a relationship with your employees. Here, we can't really do that too much. I can't go to Mike or Tom or Cody or any of these guys and say, I'm not the decision maker. I don't own the business. We all own the business. Everybody here owns the business.
No.
We're making decisions on behalf of everybody that owns the business.
You eight are the decision.
Yes.
As the board, and you have a percentage of cuts you have to make.
Absolutely.
And you have very experienced people who who know their departments better than you do.
Absolutely.
Who can say, you're gonna hand me an X percentage cut. On Monday, bring me your list. Every department is gonna get that list and say, we don't have a choice. We've all agreed there's no money. So that's beyond all the conversations now.
Yeah.
Every department has to come back to you and say, here's my piece of the pie I'm giving up. Because as I sit here, I don't know if any of you, Jessica's probably really have the knowledge, the paperwork in front of you to even make a $50,000 across the board. But I think you got to go back to your department heads and say, here's our total percentage. I mean, it's cutting no matter what. You're not choosing to make the cut.
Right.
You have to publish a budget that is balanced, which means on May 1st, there is going to be X dollar amount left to spend.
Right.
Less. So that percentage, which we just try to figure out what that percentage is, every department's gonna now hash out how they're gonna make that percentage work and keep the city running.
It's still not.
Right? I know I'm making it sound very simple, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of that simple.
And that's what we've been saying for a number of weeks. So we've had this thing for only a few months.
Right.
And so we're like saying, I'm saying I think Mr. Lamar did a great job with the numbers. And we got to go there. We just have to.
Right.
And I don't think it's rash. I think it was well thought out. I looked at him for the last few weeks. I think he did a great job. That if you're working for me, I'd say bravo, great job. So we have to trust this, and I think we can make the city more efficient. It's just my opinion. I think we can make it way more efficient by doing a public works all together where we're working as a team rather than having separate departments. And I think we'll save money over a period of time. I think it was set up wrong. And it's just been keep on going because nobody wants to do anything about it, but other cities go on to public works and it's worked well. And it's just inefficient. You do that in business, we all do that in business. We gotta go, hey, we've been doing this for 10 years. Well, it's been inefficient for 10 years. But if you're the one that's paying the bill for the inefficiency, you're gonna change it. But because all the aldermen, again, I'm not gonna go there. The point is that I really think we should go ahead with this because we can amend it. And we gotta do it. And I think it was a good idea, but it's just kind of hard to make a decision to cut this like, you know.
Well, but it's for the purposes
Yeah.
of putting a budget out there, then the people leading those departments can come back to us and say, no, that won't work, but maybe this will.
Yes.
All right, so you're gonna throw out a garbage budget for the public to review, knowing that it's a piece of garbage, and we have to wait then until when to see your actual budget? That really defeats the purpose of putting something out for public review.
It's not a garbage budget.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and no one has clear path forward. No one understands their purpose. No one is feeling like they are beholden to the public, to the people that make up this city. You've kicked this thing down the road. You've ignored it. No one has the guts to stand up and lead us through this and get bloody.
You know, you're completely off.
I am not
Completely off.
completely off.
You're completely
Your
off.
perception is.
You don't tell me what guts I have and what guts I don't have. I'll tell you that damn much right here, right now.
Whatever.
Whatever
I
your
know,
damn self,
you-
whatever your
Sean,
damn self,
hey,
whatever your
Marty,
damn self.
are far too
You don't tell
Marty,
me
Sean,
what guts I
hey,
have,
Sean.
what guts I don't have.
Sean, cool it. You too,
Oh, I'm good.
okay?
He don't tell me what guts I have.
Okay.
Then stand up and lead.
I've been here, done leading. Don't talk to
You've
me
been
about
sitting
leading.
there.
I don't see you do nothing here.
I
Marty,
choose not to.
great.
Marty,
You
hey,
chose to
Sean.
there.
Give
Sean,
yourself a round of
hey,
applause.
Sean, come on, listen up, buddy. You're gonna get us all in trouble here now. Cool it. You've been good, like you said, for the last 3 weeks. All right, just hang on.
He don't dictate me.
They have to vote.
No, sir, you do that yourself.
Nope, you don't dictate me.
Marty, come on. Don't egg him on. We're going,
So we have to have a motion on what the recommendation is to you as far as how to make the budget balanced. Or they could just say, I mean, the motion could be to have the division be proportionate across all departments. And put that together and then we can adjust it from there.
It's adjustable.
In all the years I've worked with budgets of public and private institutions, and the city is an institution. Many of those years, we come down to a little earlier than we are now. We have to request that all departments need to prepare a budget with a 3%, 5%, 7% cuts. So there's 3 ways. Everybody has to do it. I think the only way we're going to have we can present is the bottom lines on our budget are fairly accurate because we know about what our revenue will be. And we know about what our fixed expenses are going to be. I would suggest that we do an across the board cut at whatever that percentage is, and I don't know what it is, because I haven't figured it, across the board. Proportionate cuts to each department in the city, and that's in the budget. The biggest area that could be cut, be very frank, salaries, because that's 80% of the budget.
What salary can you live on, George?
Please.
Well, it's constant. I mean, some of us, we make, almost the bare minimum and we support a family of 4, if not 5.
You know, there are a lot of, I'm not gonna get into that argument. It's not a matter of,
It has to be made.
it has to be made, it is a decision. It is a very tough decision.
We said that like 3 times before.
Yeah.
5.
And the easiest way to do it is to do it across the board, but proportionate to the size of the departmental budget. That's gonna mean probably in about 16 hours of, what time is it now? It's 8 o'clock, and we're gonna publish this tomorrow at what time?
We have to have it out by noon.
And from my understanding, Jess has gone to and met with
Yeah.
every department head and sat down with them and gone line by line with them to see what can be cut, what can't be cut. She's done her homework.
done.
She's done all of that. She's
Right.
met with everybody individually. From my understanding, that is what has been done so far. It's not like she's just sitting behind the computer. She's got with all of our department heads and sat down and talked to each one of them, went line by line, seeing where they could cut, where they can't cut, and et cetera. And that's where we're at.
That's what.
Can I ask a question? Can I point something out?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Because it hasn't been mentioned, that's all. The police are 24/7, guys. Everybody else is 8-hour shifts. So do you want a 24/7 police department in Lebanon? You answer that question.
So that's what, so if you guys want me to cut it across the board, that means that the only way to cut it across the board, because I've gone through his budget with him, all the things in his budget are the things that we are required, like the camera, sorry, chief, what's it called? The camera thing that you have to pay yearly. All of those things, but so we have to, if we cut those things out, like it's all operational. There's no fat in it, so the only way you're cutting anything is to cut an officer, and then you're in turn gonna have overtime because
Do that.
we have to have 2 officers on duty 24 hours a day.
But
We have to have 2 officers. Chief, is that correct? We have to have 2 officers
Yes.
Yeah,
on.
we require as a city, it's my understanding that, Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys are going out picking up limbs, takes 2.
So we can board.
I understand, but it takes 2.
Takes 2.
Okay.
You have to
Oh,
have a
hold on,
two-man-
hold on. So you're requiring 2 people to go out to pick up. I'm not saying anything diminishing or
No,
negative about what they do for a living. Okay, we're requiring 2 to go out and pick up tree limbs. Why the heck would you even consider allowing 1 policeman?
we agreed with
No, 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 no.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm saying this is
on the
not
normal
just for you,
traffic stuff,
here,
it's
just
just
for the
one
public.
officer.
It kind of goes along with what I was gonna say. I just have, it hasn't been my turn. But I want to point this out that. And this goes along with the budget. Can I pontificate? Because it is exactly what I was gonna talk about when it was the chief's turn. But it kind of goes along with this for budget. May I do that?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I've had a lot of calls like y'all, since this bomb dropped on how broke we were, okay? I knew it wasn't we weren't in good shape. I had no idea it was as bad as what it was until I heard the numbers. Okay, so one of the ways when I started back in 15, it was May 1st of 15, I'm hitting my 11. I walked in the police department, it was a train wreck, and I'm not talking the police officers. But they had nothing financially, nothing. I mean, equipment, training, nothing. It was a used car lot in the back, if any of you remember that. So I think we had 2 operating vehicles. So I knew we were in trouble. Well, one way, and I knew it would work, was getting us in the DEA task force. So of all the calls I've had in the last 3 weeks and people I've met, one of the topics almost with everybody was asking me about the DEA task force. And I've never publicly explained it like I'm going to all of you now. So I went to Mayor Wilkin and I said, well, first of all, I met my old partner who I was undercover with, who at that time now was the boss in DEA. This is in 2015. So I went to him first and I said, and keep in mind, there was a laundry list of agencies trying to get in to the DEA task force. By happenstance, by luck, call it what you want. He was my partner undercover for years, and now he's the boss. So I went to him first. Can you think you can make this happen? He goes, Dave, I'll get back with you. That's when I went to Mayor Wilkin. I said, hey, I know this is out of the Norman, Lebanon, but this will work. This is exactly how Collinsville was kickstarted because it was very similar to Lebanon back in the mid-80s. Okay. So Mayor Wilkin says, well, let's give it a shot. And I said, okay. So I think, past Mayor Sherry, I think you were alderman then? So then we went and I pitched it to the alderman and I explained how it worked. So this is how it works. We currently have a full-time Lebanon police officer dispatched to DEA. He does that full-time. He has federal credentials, okay? So the way it works, he's in the task force. Now, you guys are all focused on the money. And I know that's what we're talking about. Police departments don't police for profit, period. That's how chiefs of police get thrown in jail. I'm not going to jail for any of it. I love y'all, but I ain't going to jail. Okay? So it ain't gonna happen. So there's so many benefits to having somebody in the DEA task force. Ask me, well, like what? It adds resources that Lebanon couldn't even dream of having. He's made contacts, and with my contacts, we need FBI here, we've had them here. We need the marshals here, countless times, picking up people on warrants. DEA, obviously. How about MEGSI, the state undercover narc unit? I can go on ATF. We just utilize ATF on something I'll talk about later. So the benefits are far and wide because we don't have the resources. We don't have the manpower. That's our current staffing. Last year, budgets tell a story, and I'll get back on track. Budgets tell a story. That story ain't done until the end of the budget, right? So then you can look at that budget and you can look back and see what line you're over. And you ought to be, as a supervisor, explain to you, why am I over on this line? Okay? Why am I under on this line? Because it tells a story, right? So we get somebody in the DEA task force. We have all these resources now that I haven't told you publicly that we have used because they're sensitive cases. Now, when Sherry was mayor, she knew, he knew, Mayor Wilkin knew. I'd keep them in the loop on these type of things, maybe after the fact, but I would keep them in the loop and I wouldn't talk about it publicly. I can't tell you how many bad guys we take out of this town and serious homicide suspects wanted in other states. So that's the plus that I am looking at. So now let's talk about the money, because I know that's what we're talking about. But again, in case FBI is paying attention, we do not police for profit, period. So since we've had somebody in the task force, I have my budget. Well, I have spent, this is what I have spent. Pushing, the last figure would be pretty close to 800,000. That wasn't taxpayer money. That was asset forfeitures that we got percentages of. Okay, everybody tracking with me? So we get a percentage of money from the bad guys that DEA has been working. So I have been able to, getting to where you were going with those cameras. Since my almost 11 years here, I've never come in front of this body and asked for something we didn't need. Never. And a lot, because I know you don't have the money. So what have I been able to do? I've been able to get these things, those cameras, by the way, which are mandated by the state of Illinois. There was some very good things in that SAFE Act, and there was some very bad things, in my opinion, in the SAFE Act. So now little communities like this have to come up with these monies to purchase this stuff because it's state mandated. What was I able to do? I was able to dip into the DEA account and purchase those things. The camera system here, I could buy that because I could articulate clearly that it's security. What was that, 14 grand? So, and then on and on and on. Buying the vest for the guys. All those monies, in practicality, should have been budgetary general fund monies. But I was able to save you. So what does that do? So what exactly does that do by me being able to spend almost $800,000 and not use general fund monies? If you'd ask me that question, well, what does that mean? Well, that means those monies I didn't come and request. So in theory, those monies were left for Cody. They were left for Penny to be able to go buy a truck or whatever. Because I didn't come to the body and ask for the money. I didn't need to. Am I clear on this? You understand the benefit of this? By far, it's huge. So now if you're gonna go down the road of, okay, we're gonna take one or two from each department, well, good luck. So what am I gonna do? Pull somebody from DEA? Or am I gonna pull somebody from SRO? Nope. So you tell me, who am I pulling? You want me to retire? I'll retire. I bet you do. You don't wanna get on me here. I ran those numbers. I get part of it, man. I don't care. So,
Hey,
so,
hey, Ron,
I'm sorry.
cool.
So,
Yeah,
my
about a couple,
point is,
you got
we
about
have
a couple, hey, Dave, you, a couple more minutes, okay? You
Okay,
can wind-
I'll stand up
okay,
with this.
okay.
the police department has done what it can do to save this community money. The mistakes that were made by whoever, I don't care. So when you're talking now, you're gonna hit the PD. Where am I gonna take, where am I taking the body from? I mean, I don't have a clue. And I get you have tough decisions to make. I understand. I don't wanna be in your chair, but I have to make those tough decisions many times too. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
No.
Sure.
This will speak on behalf.
Check your name.
My name's Shane. Everyone knows who I am. But it's Shane Thacker. I'm here in town. I made a post last week, regarding an event at the school. I know there's no school board or anyone here. If there is anyone from the board, I kind of want to apologize to you. I wasn't really meaning to direct it at you. But, my kid came home from school Monday and they told me that there's a police there searching the lockers. He came in with the principal, shoot him out of the commons room, put him into a classroom, close the door, everybody stay away from the door. You know, kids, they all talk. A little bit later that day, the officer left and there's a male student just literally open hand slapped the heck out of a female. Whatever happened that caused, I don't know. But I feel like if there was an SRO there, that event wouldn't have happened. But initially, while they were there that morning, there's some sort of a threat. And I don't know really what it all boils down to. I've heard several stories from numerous parents and several students. So to me, it's really important and it hit close to the heart that, let's just face it, there's a couple kids in my kid's classroom, they had a plot up to no good for that classroom, that teacher, because she's very sarcastic and rude as hell to anyone and everyone in her class. She's recently under investigation herself, probably because there's a audio going around of the way she speaks to students. I've heard it. Several kids are all playing it, but that's beside that. That faculty and staff, they deserve protection. Am I right or wrong? They do deserve it. To pull out an RSO or budget anything, RSO, whatever, the police cop, whatever he is, I don't know. I don't care why he's not there. I could care less if he hung the moon or wrecked 4 cars. That's none of my business. My only business about SRO is the safety of my kid.
Which is not negotiable.
Which is not negotiable. For most people, I wouldn't think, but for him to tell me that, I sit right in front of them and they both was acting so weird last week. Then to find this out over Monday, have a couple students reach out to me. It's so important. It's just scary to me. It hit close to home.
Okay. Dave, did you?
So I hope when you guys do this budgeting, that they're, I hope the school does as well. They're gonna have to put theirs in. I'll be at their meeting the next time to speak my piece as well. But it goes to someone like Miss Washington, health and safety. I mean, your health and safety, you gotta be on your toes with it. Miss Cornish, you got people here. I'm bouncing off subject. You got people here with their jobs, livelihood. Try not to miss any more meetings for a while. Paul, we like you. You're a great guy, but we know all your experience. You don't have to keep repeating that stuff every time you're in a meeting, all the things you used to do to pat yourself on the back. Get these people moving, man. You got people back there worried about their livelihoods. Jessica's the only one that leads these meetings. Or Miss Lamar, the treasurer, whatever, however she wants me to refer to her as. And I'm thankful that she does. Because otherwise, none of us here would know anything about it. George, I said something to you last week. I want to apologize. You did, cemetery thing, I always bring it up or whatever. You've done a lot of good things for us when you were here, have been here. Thank you for all of that. Mr. Bennett, you're on personnel. You need to get busy and
You're my
see what
favorite
else you
neighbor.
can cut.
My favorite name.
Cut some. Find the budgets. You know, your personnel, you should be doing on top of all the people, right? Knowing a little bit more, you know? Melky, I got some potholes I gotta send you some info on. I'm afraid to keep going because I'm gonna get.
Okay, Shane,
But I
Shane.
just worry about the safety.
Okay, Shane, I'll cut you off because I think Dave's got something to say about that.
For listening, everybody.
Sure.
Mr. Thatcher, I can touch on what you just said when it comes to the SRO. That was my last thing I promised that I was gonna talk to you about. SRO is gonna be filled April 6th. That gentleman is Officer Ray Rowland. He's gonna be our new SRO. Okay,
Oh, good deal.
he was an SRO in Collinsville for 7 years. He's very familiar with that, position, and he's extremely good at that position. At least you weren't in Collinsville, we better be better. I'm a little loving, but I still got a little bit. Okay, so that position is gonna be filled, sir, April 6th. I can't speak too much on what you brought up, okay? It's a criminal case.
I just repeat what the kid says.
I know, I understand. I'm just trying to give everybody some answers, but I have to be very vague, forgive me.
Sure.
It's a criminal case. I will tell you that this was, not this past weekend, the weekend before last. The information that we received was alarming. There was a lot of time and a lot of effort, and we utilized other agencies through contacts we have. We needed their help. There was a threat. I do think it was credible. I know it was credible. We are handling it. I will be able to, the mayor was very aware of this. I sent him the email, I think Monday, and this started last Saturday. So I can tell you we got lucky, and there was a lot of very good police work. And when I tell you it was a credible threat, I don't use credible ever, unless it is. So that ought to tell you something, if you read between the lines.
This is at the school.
Okay, I would like to
That's
say something, Sean. To the
Shane.
rude comment that you said, Shane, whatever your name is, to the rude comment that you said about me missing meetings, I'm doing the best. Excuse me, I'm talking.
Okay.
I let you talk, right? Can I talk? I'm doing the best that I can. Okay, you don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to, I'm not the only person up here that misses meetings. So all of us have missed a meeting here and there. Okay, you didn't have to bring that up. I'm doing the very best that I can. I'm a single mom and I work a full-time job. I'm doing the best that I can, okay? Thank
They're
you.
probably
Okay.
single.
Okay. Shane.
I'm just
Shane, come on.
saying, that
Amber,
was really
Amber.
rude what you
Hey,
said.
Amber, you said, okay,
4-2.
where we going now?
Barb, did you still want to say something? I know you had your hand raised up.
Just going to say, I don't think we should try to hire somebody to make your decisions. We've done that 3 times in the past with city administrators and it never worked out well. We never benefited from it. I think you should have enough confidence in your department heads and save that 100,000. I know you still probably have to cut somewhere, but I don't think farming out a responsibility to another individual again to see if they can solve our problems is the answer. If you want a public works, I think that you could get the 2 departments together to work without having to hire $100,000 manager. I just think you ought to try it at least for 6 months. Try to pool your materials, your vehicles, work together. I don't know. I just don't see that we've benefited in the past from city administrators. And we tried it 3 different times and hoped that they could get the city in shape, so.
We didn't have the budget problems then, though, did we?
Probably. Because of that, we did.
Possibly, you know.
I know, all 3 of them. You want to say something? No, it's not that big back.
Is that because they weren't sharing information?
Yes. I'm gonna go with yes. There's years and years of information not being shared and people doing the wrong thing at random times and things like that. And we all know what prior city administrators have done. There's been all kinds of issues that have come through. It sounds like the consensus is though, is that you guys are in agreement that we understand we have to cut employees and you guys want me to build a budget around cutting employees from both departments or all departments or both departments or whatever it may be. I can meet with Chief again. Maybe there's some other things other than people that he can cut that we can talk about or something, but it sounds like that you guys agree and understand that we have to move in that direction. So, for the sake of trying to move this forward, is that clear? It sounds like we need some kind of motion and an understanding of what we're cutting. It sounds like we are agreeing that I'm trying to cut those numbers to some, I guess, payroll numbers to what I kind of presented. And then we're gonna take the steps needed and go through the process to put that implementation in.
How much money are we needing right now? I missed that.
Yeah, what, $315?
Yeah.
$315,000,
From general.
unbalanced.
Yeah.
Do you have that 1 million?
1.7 if you repay.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
1.7 if you repay the 1.4.
I don't have that much.
Yeah, no,
You got
it's,
30%.
there's,
I think that's 600.
and there's a few things that I know that I'm gonna be able to change on there on the revenue side too. A couple things that I know that have come in that it's not drastic. Otherwise I would tell you guys, hey, I found this, solution, but hopefully I can go through and try to kind of put a budget together. But like he said, it's a trash budget unless we move forward with actually implementing it. So as long as we're clear that that's what you guys are asking, then that's.
Someone want to make a motion and get a second to move forward with the decision, since we all have to vote.
Move that we need to balance the budget. And it should be as across the board as possible. Taking into account things that are required by law. And things that are obligated by grants and outside influences, which helps the police department because they have things they do that help. At the same time, the budget needs to consider additional sources of revenue.
Need a second? Linda, you second it? Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call, Paul?
Well,
That doesn't sound very specific.
I don't, let's see how that gets us to a budget.
Can't be specific because I don't have the numbers in front of me to run the figures. All I can say is cut it across the board.
Still need 300 some K.
Taking into account required positions, required supplies, etc. Taking into account. What else was there?
That's gonna be balanced.
That's a pretty tall bid.
If they balance it first.
We gotta say balanced.
It was a
It
second.
has to balance, but we don't have to have it. Yeah, I realize it's a garbage one, Marty, but we don't have to have the balanced budget tomorrow morning.
Right.
We have one more vote on this on April the 6th, so that's gonna give everybody more time.
Just not the community, just not the residents,
Right.
which is why you publish it.
Polish it so everybody can see something.
We can't have 4,000 people making a decision.
That's.
You're right, so don't show it to the public.
No,
That's right,
Well, no.
do it all in closed session so that we have no
Hey,
idea.
Marty, one sec, on the preliminary budget, it's presented at noon, we'll be sitting up here and I'm gonna post it on the website. That, I mean, that's the best I can do, obviously. I've
Yes.
not seen my budget yet
Yeah,
for admin. So by noon, and it will be on the website. And if you need copies, we can make paper copies, but it will be available. I mean, that's,
you guys are publishing something to meet an obligation. You're not
We're
publishing something
expecting it.
because it's good.
it's amendable. You can amend this.
There's a light feedback, so it can be amended. If somebody in the community says, consider it.
If it was a real attempt at a budget,
It is a real attempt.
no, it is
You can
meeting
make
an
the argument
obligation.
that if there's actually cuts being proposed, that's. The ones before this have also been garbage because they didn't do that.
And garbage expensive for the last 25, 30 years. But, because it's the same thing. The budget is just a best guess as to what we're going to spend and how much is going to come in. If we had suddenly tomorrow afternoon, after it was published, we have a Walmart say, we're gonna put a Walmart in down near the interstate, and it's gonna be on Lebanon's property. And we're gonna have it completed in 6 months. Bad chance, 6 months, that throws everything off, because that revenue is revenue the city would not have planned on. The same thing could happen if we had, a farm go in, solar farm go in. We would be getting a revenue off that is unplanned revenue. So it's.
Sell City Hall.
Hmm?
Sell City Hall, there's a revenue source.
I don't think we can get there, it's out of the question. But you need, to have- we need to meet an obligation tomorrow, because we must have the budget available, a budget available to the public for 5 days before it's voted on. And that's what we're doing. I wish we could, it would happen. It'd be great if we woke up tomorrow morning and found out something is moving to town.
Yeah. Hey, George, would you kind of get your act together and come up with some kind of motion that Paul can write down?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think Carl was first there, Sharon.
A budget is expenditures. It doesn't mean, or it doesn't even matter what the revenue was. If a Walmart moves in, hallelujah. You're passing a budget to give the city of Lebanon the authority to expend how much dollars. Doesn't matter the revenue. Yes, you do estimated revenue. It's the expenditures you are approving as per the statutes. We're focused on the expenditures. I don't care about the revenue.
Sharon?
It's, even though it would not be, what is planned to be final, it's still not total garbage, because it provides the talking points for the public to come from, and also to see the implementation of the, not anything against you, George, but waffly words that George is using because he has to, because they haven't been calculated yet. They'll be calculated in what is published, so everyone can see the impact, and the public also participate in, ooh, well, across the board goes too deep in this place, and things like that. But I don't think there's anything else that can be done within the timeline that exists.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. You wanna try again there, George, with more specifics, I guess, or whatever stuff in your.
I'm gonna think more thoroughly.
Okay.
I'm gonna do one.
No.
I need something.
You've already met.
I'm moving that we have a balanced budget prepared for tomorrow morning that proposes cuts and expenditures of various areas. based upon
It's fine.
a portion of the budget. Portional cuts of expenditures, excluding personnel in the police department.
Does that fly, Luke?
I guess theoretically. If
No,
Mike Jessica said
no.
Jessica thinks she could, if that gives enough instruction to Jessica.
Just say-
To know what to do with it.
You just can't touch the personnel in the police.
Yeah.
Can we live with the structure where we say, I don't know what the percentage would be, I'm gonna cut 5%. Every line item in this department, these 3 departments.
Right.
Figure out what adds up to 315,000.
Okay, and the bottom line is, what's the total revenue for the city proposed in the budget line?
$2,113,423.
Thank you. I had it in front of you, but I did. 2,000,001.
My job.
So $2,100,000. So $300,000 of that is what percentage?
You're listening.
14-15%.
So we're looking at approximately
Yeah.
15% across the board cut.
No, we can't do 15 across the board cut. Not if you're not gonna take anything from the police department.
No, we're not gonna take anything, so it's
Okay,
gonna
so-
be, it's gonna be somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Do you have
That's
anything
the
else?
problem.
So what are you saying, less than 15%?
No, it's gotta be more in some departments.
But some departments.
Jessica did the homework.
Even at that.
We had this homework for 3 weeks.
There is no more fact to be taken out.
Yeah, she already figured this out for us. We all
Right, I
had
see
3
what
weeks to
you're
look at it. And I don't see any way we can,
There is no.
I mean, there's some minor details, but she worked this out.
Are there capital purchases in terms of major equipment that can be taken out?
There's nothing in it.
There's nothing here.
There's
I know.
nothing in it.
We took the car out.
You have to be willing to say, we're going to be cutting personnel. We have to be willing to say those words. We can't dance around it. If you want me to cut the money, I gave you a budget. The only place you can cut it is personnel. I don't want to be this person because this is not my job. This is not my job to deliver the bad news to the employees. And when they call you upset because they have livelihoods, I need to know that you guys aren't going to tell them that this is Jessica's fault. Because I don't want to do it to the people any more than you do, but we have to do it. And so I need you guys to articulate clearly that we understand that and that we're going to have these hard conversations because this is the position that we're in.
Yes.
And it can't be all on me to keep having these conversations over and over of these people pleading for their jobs because I'm not the person that put us here.
If we cut positions,
Yeah.
it's inevitable that positions are going.
George, don't exclude any department. Do your homework.
What?
Do your homework. You cut 15%, that's 546,000, and the streets and alleys works at a 300% deficit. That is trees falling on children, that is roads we can't drive on, that's things we can't flush.
And we'll get out of here.
Just don't exclude anybody, and then go forward and you go into there. Right. George, you don't think you're going to-
We can.
Be through with it.
Yeah.
Stop trying to exclude people. Right.
Right.
Across the board.
It's hard.
No, it
Well,
ain't, just say
Cut
it.
people- It's hard to cut people. No. It's not hard
I
to say.
don't want to see them go.
No.
Anybody can make a motion. Like Jessica
You know,
said, we don't have a
but-
choice.
Well, the issue though is that you can't say cut it across the board because we might not be able to cut the police department because if you have to have 2 on, and Jessica said this many times, you're gonna have overtime. So it's gonna cost us more. So,
Well, I can go to chief and try to figure out where we can cut. We will cut something from the police department budget. I don't know what it's gonna be. I will cut something from the police department's budget that is not personnel.
How much do we need to cut from the PD? What percent?
That's what,
She got a little.
it doesn't sound, we can't come up with all the answers right now because I don't have the exact numbers of giving a percentage and everything like that. So I will get with chief, we will cut a portion from chief. I'm not
idea.
personnel.
I'm not gonna say it publicly because I don't know if I have permission.
Of something that can be moved to
Yes.
DEA. Yes, so I will get with chief. We will find something we can cut from police department's
Okay.
budget that does not include personnel.
yeah,
And then and then we are under the understanding that we are cutting personnel and any other expenses that the supervisors can tell me that we can cut. We will get together and we will try and cut from each of the other departments. That includes admin, water, sewer, streets.
You got that, George, as far as adding across the board, I guess?
Is it possible in the police department to have one on duty in the day and have availability of the chief and the school resource officer if an emergency happens?
No, we can't have that contractual issue with the school. The school resource officer has to be available.
Yeah, he's only for the school. He's only for the school.
And the contract has to be 2 officers on.
I know that, but I thought maybe with the chief is available.
It's contractual.
idea, but it's good, right?
Yeah,
And try.
it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
When they're not in.
Makes sense. And I've got to look at the personnel contract
Time.
to see if there's an exigency
And
clause
they
in there,
work 12 hours.
because that would help with personnel there.
Okay, so what are we gonna do? What's the motion?
You wanna attempt your motion again?
I move that the budget be prepared for tomorrow afternoon, please. With cuts to, about, I'm gonna say, put a number out there, I'm gonna say 14.5% cut. Affecting all departments. That's a lot of money, I know. That's the three of
Oh,
that.
not me. Percentage wise.
That makes just have to recalculate.
Yeah.
Several hundred of.
Well, she's already done the homework.
By
You
noon,
know,
and we're halfway through the agenda.
And she still works full time.
I think we gotta have dollar figures from specific funds, and it's probably gonna have to be salaries.
this is only the first vote to get a preliminary budget. It's called a preliminary.
I get that, which is why you could change it in the next week, in the next year,
Right,
but we gotta get something with.
we have to have something out tomorrow. We can change it in the next week
What is it?
to make adjustments.
Can I make
What
a
is it, 20%,
suggestion at the
25%?
motion? Please.
Yes.
I would suggest the motion be that you approve moving forward with the preliminary budget that Jessica presented, reduced by 315,000 to be split across all departments, to be first withdrawn from any administrative or other budgets, but to be removed, to be cut from personnel to the greatest extent, to the least extent possible, so that it can be published tomorrow.
That sounds like a winner to me.
Does that?
That is my motion.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's your
gonna put
motion.
it across the board, affecting personnel to the least extent that I can.
Right.
I'll cut everywhere else I can possibly before we do personnel, but then we understand there's going to be some personnel cuts.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Up to 350,000.
Also,
Okay, yeah, can I get a second?
no, we have a motion still with you with a second, Linda, I think.
Yeah. You already seconded.
Oh.
Yeah.
What didn't you hear? I said I want to second it again.
Again?
I
Okay.
seconded first time.
Okay.
I him hauled around. I ain't doing it the second time.
We got full motion or what?
Yeah, so I think George is amending his motion to match with
Right.
my suggestion.
I'm amending my motion.
So.
We gotta vote on amendment and then vote on the motion.
Second.
Second. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Somebody did it.
Any more? Okay, Paul. Roll call.
Krumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so that was to amend the motion. Now you have to take the roll
motion.
call on the actual
I
amended
did
motion.
motion.
So you're making that motion then, George?
No, it's an amended motion.
Okay.
So same people.
Roll call on the amended motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yeah.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
and Krumzig.
Yes.
That's it.
All right.
Now we have something.
Uh,
All right, which brings us to item 3.
Spending money. Right, that one.
Discuss obtaining possible bids for mowing cemetery.
You can taper that because you don't have any money.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got personnel hired out, if you don't have personnel,
Crap.
hired out.
Yeah.
So, do I have to move the table?
Nope,
All right,
not because it's,
Okay, now we'll move on to water sewer RJ.
All right, discuss recommend GIS map of 1 to 3 year contract. Year 2 and 3 would be locked in with no increase. I know that it's been at 2,500 a year, 3,500 a year. And
Proposed at 5.
And Penny has been able to keep it at 3,500 a year for us for quite some time, but I think they're now pushing us to the $5,000 a year. Greg,
Like,
please, yes.
so that was presented last week at the $5,000 mark. Questions as to the, signatures being wrong, stuff like that. So I went back to them, I said, the 3,500, 5,000 is just too much for us. They're having issues, obviously, here we are. So they agreed to keep that price. Raise it up at my suggestion, but if we gotta raise it, can we raise it 500 at a time? So we'll go 3,500, 4,000 this year, 4,500 the next year, 5,000 the year after that. So it'll be a 3-year contract, but we don't get to that 5,000 until the 3rd year. And that is what I sent out in the packet that was.
Can I get a motion and a second on that?
Yeah, I mean,
give me a second step.
Yeah.
Second.
second,
Okay.
yeah.
Any more discussion? Nope. Roll call.
Nope, he's not small.
Oh, you guys?
Well, I just, before we, vote on it, I'd just like to point out too, how we have all these guys coming in town to do the, fiber stuff.
He's here.
I think it's beneficial to our water and street department to be able to locate all our lines. That's all I have.
Okay, roll call, Paul.
Bennett. I got you. He's not even ready for the law. Smith,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on number 2 there,
Okay,
RJ.
discuss recommend TWM contract for engineering Herman Street water line replacement.
Need a motion and a second on that one too. Good second from anybody?
Second.
Second? Okay, anything else? Nope, okay, roll call, Paul.
That's somebody just leave.
No.
All right, we got Washington,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow, Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Let's try that then. For the land of, okay.
I think you could just call his name.
What's the question? Yes. You just call him as absent.
Yeah.
You have the votes.
Yeah.
Bennett's absent.
Okay, okay, carries in.
Number 3, discuss recommend, Saga Fiber to do the locates for the city utilities throughout their project. We'll need to have an agreement drawn up to release the city of any liability.
Very kind of stuff.
Let's do it like that.
I'd like to see, I'll move it, but I'd like to see the agreement.
Let's go to the second. Yeah, do the second.
Second.
Anything else? Okay, roll call, Paul.
So the
Oh,
motion is to get an agreement drawn up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, Paul.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
It's on number 3. Or is that number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3 underwater sewer.
Socket Fiber doing their own locates.
Yeah.
Cornish,
Yes.
Farrow, Crumzig,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and Washington.
Okay,
Okay,
That-
sorry.
It does, like you have
Yes.
that.
Well, did you receive that packet from Sam Gates Millennium? It should have contained the
Oh,
harmless
in
agreement.
the past week,
It should have been the day that I met with you and got on the original budget.
I've not received anything in the last what's the name again?
It should have been from Sam Herman at Millennium Boards,
I did not get that.
or it may have come from Brandon or John from my company. They already have a whole farm list, it just needs to be approved by your lawyer and signed by the city.
I do not have,
I apologize that.
somebody just get it to me and I'll
You
go
were
through
here
it.
at last week's.
Okay.
Does that have to come
No
back
worries, I will
in, or
make
can you
sure
look
that
at
they-
it and be?
It has to be approved by a resolution. So if you
So-
get it to me, then I can get it to them for the April 6th to pass, to approve. To go through committee to be then
correct.
approved at the April 15th,
Moving the resolution.
authorizing the signet signing.
Understood.
Meanwhile, we're like getting 500
Yeah,
a
they're getting
day.
hammered every single day with locate tickets.
That we're
They
not
can't
able
keep
to keep
up
up
with
with.
And we haven't even started, I told guys to hold off tonight, we'll get to the ground yet, I wanted to wait for this.
Send me an email.
Sure, you keep up and stuff with it.
Yes.
got it. That's it.
That's it, sensible word.
And then we meet Monday, April 20th.
Okay, thank you, sir. Health and safety, Linda?
No, anything, we need April the 20th, it's
Okay, personnel, Arnie, Mr. Bennett?
April 20th, sorry.
Okay. Okay, it's my turn. I guess the only thing I have to say is that Paul has not been receiving anything from council members about what goes from committee to be brought forward to council. So you people need to work on getting him the information so he can put it on the agenda after the committee meeting.
That was what I was gonna say, but I'll talk.
Okay, that's all I gotta say. Paul, clerk?
I want to remind you guys. Every Monday committee. There used to be a green piece of paper. You write stuff down, chicken scratch, whatever. You get it to the clerk. This was to Pam, this is to Luann, now it's to me. I'm not gonna put up with getting a call at 3:45 on Friday after I've got it ready. I came in on Saturday for another item. You're big boys, big girls, committee, scribble it, but I want it emailed to me, and if you cannot email it, you call me. But I really want some type of trail. Get the emails to me.
If you did. Done.
Well, the deadline was Thursday at noon. Well, then I want to go to Wednesday, but I'm gonna say Thursday by 4 p.m. And I will verbally reprimand you on the phone when you turn it in late, because you know how I am. But please just get it done and keep me quiet. I appreciate it. If you have questions before then, call me. Thank you.
Okay.
Since Luann left, I ain't seen no more than green sheets.
I can put them out there.
I'd bring back the green sheet.
Well, I want the green sheets, but when you scribble like a doctor, I want you guys to let me know what's on that sheet. I really want an email. I will get you green sheets.
Wow. Green sheets.
No, now you are. I got you.
Yeah, you asked for it.
We'll make it work, guys. We'll make it work. That's a stare I don't want to see now. I'm scared. We'll make it work. That's all I have.
That's it, okay. Treasurer, Jess, you got any more?
Yeah, a couple things, I wanted to touch base on, obviously, working on a lot right now. There's been several references made to the fact that we don't have a budget comparison, we don't have a treasurer's report, things like that. The aldermen do receive that monthly to their email. However, I will start trying to be consistent about that being a part of finance committee. If we have it before then, I'll have to look and see. I don't actually generate that because I don't have access to the locus system. So Whenever our accounts and everything can get balanced and we have that, I'm hoping it'll be before finance committee, but if not, I will put it on the full council as my treasure report. I will start trying to share that, because I do think it's important that we are transparent for our finances through all of this. The other thing I was gonna share, I'm not required to be at committee meetings. So I want you guys that I'm telling you right now, as soon as we get through probably May 1 and some of the settles, I will probably not be at committee meetings because I'm actually missing 2 of my son's baseball games tonight. And my kids will go into softball season and I'm assistant coach for them, and the only practice night we had was Mondays. So I will always be here for full committee or for the full council meeting, but for committees, I won't be here. So if there's questions that come up, please be proactive. I will always watch the recording the next day so that I can stay in the loop. But I will not justify missing all of my kids' stuff to be here when I'm not required to be there. So, but I do, as you guys know, work many hours throughout the week for the city. So I'm always happy to look into anything you need me to or anything in advance, but just giving you guys fair warning, especially starting in May, I will not be here for those meetings as much. Other than that, I think that's everything I had to share. There's a few things I'm working on with Luke, but I'll update that as I give it to you.
That's it. Okay, Luke, your turn.
Just a quick update on 326 South Third Street. The order for condemnation for demolition was entered last week. So we can look at starting to put that out bid theoretically. So that one is resolved. We're still working on foreclosing on some liens that we're just having some issues with getting people served, but we're working on that. Last week, we had 3 separate requests or referrals from the PAC regarding HOMA and FOIA referrals. I submitted responses to those today, so now we kind of wait. To that effect, I'm going to suggest that as many of you as possible look into taking HOMA, Open Meetings Act and or FOIA education, just so that you have an idea. Only really the FOIA officers required to have that training, but it's beneficial for all of you to have it. I know IML has options for that. There's other options. If you want me to do it, we can set that up. We just gonna suggest that we keep that in mind going forward.
Is there an online thing where we could do it there?
It's probably easier for each of them to do it individually rather than do it all together. If we do it all together, then we have to do notice and all those kinds of things. So
Good. Anything else, Luke?
don't think so.
Okay, department heads, chief?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, streets, Cody?
No.
Nothing? All right, water, Penny?
Well, I've been quiet all night, so about everything that's going on. I would like to say that I think Mr. Bill's suggestion was a good idea. I don't think that the supervisors, at least myself, have been included in a lot of decisions or looking at the budget up until the final hour. And I think that, we do have a lot of experience in police, I do in the budget over many, many years here. And I think that, had I been given all of the information up front, maybe I would have had some ideas that could have been helpful. I feel like now we're behind the 8 ball. We just want to talk to everybody because that's what we have to do. And I just feel like we weren't, at least I can say we, I don't know whether everybody else's meetings were. I just know that my meetings were very minimal. No offense to Jessica, but those were very, very like straightforward. Here's what I'm doing. What do you need? Like as a, I've got to take this out. So I feel like, if I was given all of this information, even now, the figures, maybe I could find more, besides cutting my personnel. We don't have a lot of buffing our department either. Our, the treatment plant before it was the new plant was on the books as requiring 5 people to run just the plant. That didn't include the water department at all. 5 people is in the books, I can show you. That was for the old plant. The new plant is much more labor intensive than the old. So I just, before you all just, I know you don't want to cut people. That's not my point in saying this. I just think that you don't realize the things that will be cut and the things that won't happen in the city if, for not only my department, because we already said we don't have money to do things that, need to be done now, but we need to look at far more ways than just cutting this. I'm done.
That it? Okay, thanks, Penny. Blake?
Gonna kind of piggyback off of what Lyndon was doing with the combination there on, Third Street. That's all I got.
Hey, Blake, I got a question, bud.
Yep.
The house on 409 St. Louis Street.
Yep.
We got you more intel on what
He was
that,
hoping here by the end of the month. I mean, the last one I talked to him last week, he had their insurance company was sending out an appraiser, trying to get a hard number for him. He was having a third party appraiser. They're trying to come together on some kind of realistic number, because obviously the insurance company, they want to pay you for past experiences that I've dealt with insurance companies with the rentals that my dad has and whatnot. They want to either pay you for what the building's worth. They don't want to pay you to tear it down, or they want to pay you to tear it down, but they don't want you to pay for what the building is worth, especially in a rental property. It's an income producing, so they look at it as just a house. They don't look at the back rent you've lost. They don't look at the forward rent that now is manned out because they've drug their feet so long. I made him aware, the tarp's ripped, he knows all that. You wanna call up on that roof and put a new tarp on it? No. That's, the last guy that did it didn't really wanna do it when he did it, but he did it for him. He knows that it needs to be tarped. He well aware that it's an eyesore. He's well aware that something needs done with it. He says he calls his insurance guys, his lawyer, whoever he's gotten tied up into it once a week. Because he doesn't like seeing it. Thank you. Yep.
Blake, have you heard anything else about that house on 306 Cherry? I think it's a trailer right there on the corner of Cherry and D. I asked you about the same one.
Oh, that one. As far as I know, I actually stopped and talked to the neighbors across the street there. And they said that to the best of their knowledge, nobody. So they're gonna have to, it would probably take chief for somebody to drive by there at night, see if lights are on.
They don't have lights.
They're gonna have to do a knock and talk. I can't say if somebody's living there, because when I drive through town, there's not a vehicle in the driveway, so I can't say that somebody's staying there in the 8 hours that you may or may not pay me to do my job here in the next 2 weeks.
Don't say that, you don't know that.
I'm the easiest one, I know.
That it, Blake?
All I got.
All right, move on to unfinished business. Discussion of restructuring or combining water sewer department and streets alleys department, including possible combining the 2 departments into a single public works department. Do we want to talk any more about that or just move on?
Move on, we're waiting for
Right,
the one ordinance.
okay, we'll move on to new business, I guess. Any new business? Going once, twice, gone. Okay, make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2 C1 regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, and pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2 C5 for discussion of purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. No vote will be taken, so bye-bye, folks. Yeah, Bill.
And I'm guessing the April 6th meeting is gonna be where the budget will be discussed one more time.
6:15.
That would be, the public hearing will be at 6:15 on April the 6th.
Okay, gonna be a pretty big crowd. I will,
You're gonna open your 15
will offer to donate it, no charge, the 54 event space if you need the use of that facility.
Okay.
Seating capacity of up to 100, so if you need that, I will offer, it. So.
We appreciate it.
Decision for security purposes and so forth, then I'll offer it.
That's 30 minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bill. Thank you, Mike.
No law.
Okay, I need a second
You have a second, need a second?
to go into executive session.
Yeah.
Sorry, hang on, I need a vote.
say yes.
Very sorry.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett, Cornish,
Yes.
Crumsey,
Yes.
Barrow,
Yes.
Marcinkowski,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and Washington,
And you need who goes in there, right?
to include,
Treasurer, attorney,
I got
Okay.
clerk, treasurer, mayor, attorney, the chief saying?
yes, the chief.
I
Yeah,
don't know, I have no idea what.
if we're gonna do the, if we're gonna talk about the LAND. Okay. Yeah. And she-
You guys are gonna be, wanna be included?
Yeah.
What?
This is not my.
Practice you can be part of it, but we gotta be part of it.
It'll be tomorrow. Okay.
This is about specific personnel. It's not.
I mean, he was in.
He maybe put on ground, he didn't.
To everything that we just spoke about.
No, I have my own thing.
Oh.
That was totally opposite.
He has his own stuff that he has to get on the agenda.
But he said he would leave out, we thought.
I mean, it's got numbers on the words.
No, this is only about with regards to a specific employee. How their job is doing or what you wanted to take action. It's not,
I mean, it was.
it's not a budget thing.
Well, we've heard both.
We got 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, I could, I being on the streets with ladies about our day-to-day operations, what they say.
No, that's not closed session.
So he, we'll see. The handout you can have, you can look over.
I will take it. And I will be. You wanna sit down and go through it, Andrew?
They didn't get under the right one.
Hey, Paul, is the chief outside there?